Awesome. 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 Okay. So we're gathered here today with Great Mother Energy. So happy to be with you. And Great Mother's just wanting to come through for us today and share with us what we need to know in order to walk within her guidelines. I'm getting a real strong download about this yellow brick road because we are in the processing suit today. And this is the gut chakra suit. This is actually in Munchkin land before she enters the yellow brick road. And so I'm getting from Great Mother an image of lines around the path, lines, when there's a path and you're walking in the woods or in a park or something, and they've put gravel on top of the dirt. And so it's very clear what that pathway is. It's no longer just the dirt or those that have walked before, but there's actually been some real commitment to a path. And so concrete has been laid. There have been some parameters put on the side of the concrete, perhaps, to reinforce it, is the image that I'm getting. I'm getting an image that she is wanting us to really, really commit to that path that we have already walked, that dirt road that's already ingrained. And this dirt road, as it specifically relates to how we have grounded ourselves in her love, how we have grounded ourselves in her guidance, how we have been mothering ourselves from her intuitive voice. And she's wanting us to recognize that we have been doing that work. We have been receiving that guidance. And so that's why there's this path. And she wants us to commit even further to that path. In other words, to concretize, as they say in New Thought circles, crystallize, confirm that path as root, as the root, as the way that we go, as how we do things, of how we operate, of how we ground ourselves in the world. And so she's opening up this particular class with this image, with these signs and these symbols for us to work with throughout. Okay?
Okay.
All right, all right. So, with regard to that, we know that this class is for mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, or unavailable, she may have transitioned. She just is not emotionally available. She's not mentally available. She's not spiritually available to heal. She's unable to heal her own MDT because it is a cycle. If you have MDT, your mom has MDT, guaranteed. It does not skip generations. It is a lineage, DNA inheritance. It's an ancestral pattern. When she is unavailable, unwilling, and unable to heal her own MDT, loving detachment is necessary in order for the child to live a happy, healthy, and whole life. Loving detachment. So, what have we learned so far in laying this path of Great Mother's guidance speaking to us? What have we learned about loving detachment so far?
Um, it's not always easy,
Mm-mm.
and there can be ebbs and flows. There is a conscious effort to love and defend yourself and remind yourself of who you are constantly, um, in order to go from one level to the next.
And who are we?
Dearly loved children of God. I mean, and I even said, I even said literally today, um, about something. I said, when you get angry or upset or disappointed, You don't throw them out with the bathwater, the child out with the bathwater. You love them through it. And we have to love ourselves likewise through the process. And the love that we wanted or got from someone else, we have to get from ourselves, even if it is challenging, or even if there are obstacles, even if there is opposition to that. And it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't understand it, because that's part of the MDP. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you need, and you getting what you need and loving yourself through it.
Very good. Very good. Very good, Monica. So you have just said that you have learned the first three suits of a Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. You have learned it through living it first, and now applying those life lessons to a tool that she has given us to speak to us. Okay. And for us just to simply assert who we are. And who are we? We are dearly loved, divine children
Hmm.
of the great Mother, Father, God, who what?
Is never judged or condemned or left alone.
Are left alone. That is who we are. And so this tool that she has given us to, as you said, return ourselves back to that divinity when we do have those challenges, those obstacles, to owning our divinity. It's a tool for us to receive clarity, balance, and confirmation about who we are. Some people say that it is a practice of meditation. Some would call it the actual reading of the cards. I hear you shuffling the cards, a satsang, uh, or a meeting between souls. But whatever it is, it's that returning back to ourselves. And as we return to ourselves, oftentimes in order to then return to this world, because we live in two worlds. We are in this world, but we are not what?
Of this world.
We're not of it.
Hmm.
So that means that we live in two what?
So says the Lord Jesus Christ.
That says that we live in two worlds.
Yeah. Hmm.
That says we live in two worlds because we in this world,
And we of it.
but we not what?
Of it.
So that means that we must be in another what?
World going back and forth.
Another world at the same time.
Hmm.
So that is the very nature of being a human being. In fact, human means spiritual man.
Hmm.
Hu, the prefix hu, is Sanskrit for spiritual.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. And man is word for beast, physical beast body,
Interesting.
spiritual beast. That's who we are. And so we're here in this physical experience. And so in order for us to return to this world that we are not of and retain that divinity, we have to let go of illusions and lies that say that we're not.
Hmm.
We have to always, constantly, and consistently, we have to keep letting them go. They come to us because we are here after all, in it. We in it. And so we're going to take on some things and we're going to attract a lot of things that will make us question that divinity. So we are in a constant state of grief,
So there, it's kind of like
of
how
mama
somebody
drama
may,
trauma.
and there could be like, so like you're talking about two worlds. It's like somebody that may have dual citizenship, right? Where they may have been born in another country for whatever reason, but they're actually citizens of something else. Right? So they've got two passports.
Right. And so whenever he goes to India, he has to let go of some the stuff that he would do or say over here in order to help out his family over there.
Right. Or females when they go to somebody else, like, yeah, you can say that here, but you can't say anything in another country. Yeah. Yep.
So grieving is having to let go when you are not ready.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nobody really wants to always modify themselves in order to fit in.
Right, right, right.
And with mama drama trauma, you do that too much, you're going to be sick.
Hmm.
So we have talked about Great Mother, Father God with regard to the gifts that they give to us in learning how to manage this, learning how to work with this yin
Can I
energy
pause
being
you for a second? You mentioned if you do it too often, you're going to be sick. Could you elaborate on that?
well
You mean
if
physically sick? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, if you do what too often, I was saying, if you allow the physical world to have say and to have control over you just be going along in order to get along. That's what the
Exactly.
example of the dual citizenship has to do with, like what you were saying. If you're
Mhm,
in one country and you move to another, yes, you have to modify your behavior all the time.
mhm.
And yes, that's just what you have to do. But and there are countless examples of that in life where, like we were talking last week, you talk to a client at work and then you go home and you talk on Thanksgiving with your family. That's the nature of dealing with the 12 houses in the cosmic calculus. That's natural. However, with mama drama trauma, if you do that in the context of that relationship, that mother child relationship, if you are compromising your authenticity to the point where not only does your mother not know who you really are, but you don't know who you
You
are,
don't know. Mhm,
you're going to be sick. You're gonna be
mhm.
sick. You're gonna
Literally.
constantly have headaches. You're gonna be really stiff. You're gonna have joint problems. You're gonna have problems giving birth, childbearing. You're gonna have all kinds of health issues. You do that
Mhm,
too much with MDT. Okay, so it's not just you having dual citizenship with MDT.
mhm.
That's why Great Mother channeled this deck specifically for MDT. You can use it for anything. If you really having problems with that situation, you married to somebody over there in India and you don't like doing that, and that's causing you some real problems. But you aren't gonna leave your husband. You're gonna need to grieve all that stuff that you so attached to in order for you to have a loving relationship with your husband. The deck is for that person too,
Mhm.
to work through that every day with great mother guidance, to learn to live in loving detachment from that requirement of that relationship. There are people that use the deck, for things like that, but it is specifically designed for MDT because with mama drama trauma, you die. She can divorce, she can whatever, and she will die too if she's compromising too much of herself. So today we're
Mhm.
talking about processing, because that's really when we get into the gut chakra where we process our food. And so with the gut chakra, we are processing our emotions with regard to these issues. So quickly, if we would just review this energy of Great Mother, it is the still small voice of what?
Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. Yeah, our intuition and that yin energy, emotional energy, passive energy. Inaction is another way of describing passive energy. It's very receptive, magnetic energy, lunar. It's the moon. Now, the intuition that we speak of is that soul energy that connects to Great Father energy in the Vedic astrology. And this is the law, the word, logos. It's also any religion that's practiced, outer manifestation, the inner spirituality. And when that's out of balance, there are issues that come up with that as well. Yang energy is thought, just what we think about something, the machinations of the mind. It's active energy. It is initiating energy. And so when we talk about balancing great mother father energy, we're talking about balancing also the light and the darkness. You could say light is knowledge. You could say light is awareness, is consciousness. And you can say that darkness is unconsciousness. You know, you can say darkness is ignorance. Some go as so far as to say that it's evil. People are very afraid of the darkness, but that is because we do not understand great mother energy. Light and darkness is in all things. And so, solar energy, sun energy, we're most associated with it because it's the most physically consistent thing in our lives from the day that we're born into the day that we die. Every day, you may not see the moon unless you go outside at night, but every day you're going to see the sun. And so this light that is within us is reflected by the moon. And when we reflect something, when a mirror reflects something, the mechanizations of what's happening is that whatever is absorbing the image is receiving the energy of that. And so during the moon phases, Great Mother receives solar energy in different degrees. Sometimes she receives a whole lot of it, and that's when she is full of light. That's the full moon.
Right.
And other times it's like, nah, I ain't get none of you. None. It's gonna be a black sun, a black
Mm,
moon, because it's all, you know, I'm not receiving any of it. However, this is what Great Mother is speaking to the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck into our moon sign. That's the surface conscious awareness of it because it's based on our what? Our vision, what we can see. I see the full moon, so that's how it works. Oh, I don't see a moon, so yeah, I understand that. But Great Mother, she's also talking about the yin yang of that understanding is that when the moon is full, that is also when Great Mother is her most expressive
hmm,
be- because she's absorbing what?
the sun.
She's absorbing it all.
Can you go back a slide?
Go back a slide.
Yes, please.
What do you need?
And so when you were talking about, I was trying to understand because you were talking about the absorption of it all, right? And so when you're showing it, so if you're talking, although it's passive, right? Passive is not the same as passive aggressive. It's the act of allowing, correct? Because you're standing back and
Okay.
you are,
If we're going to stay on our path, with Great
yeah,
Mother talking about that path that you are laying your own concrete,
yeah.
and you're walking down that path and it's real green. Over to
Hmm.
the side, you see a little pond.
Okay,
See a little pond,
okay.
and you just kind of say, "Wow, look at this rock. Let me just toss this over there to the pond." And you just toss that rock over there to the pond. And that water just receives it and flows around it.
Mm,
Just flows around it. That's passive energy. It ain't got no reaction other than the natural reaction that it would have due to the fact that it came into that space. It's not reacting to it.
got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay, keep
It's
going.
it's just okay. you know, it registers it, but okay, and so passive aggressive energy, okay, so passivity is on this side, right? On the
Hmm.
other side is aggression.
Hmm.
Aggression is you know
Throwing the rock
the
back out.
dog that you had no idea. that you had the dog that you had no idea was in the park at all. As soon as the rock hits the surface of the water and a splash hits, all of a sudden this dog comes out of nowhere into the pond to get the rock.
Mm.
That's aggression. Okay, that's aggression. So, so a passive aggressive individual or
Is in the
behavior
middle.
is someone who initially behaves as the water, but in actuality, for all intents and purposes, they are the dog.
Mhm.
They are the dog.
Hidden motives. Yeah, I got
That's passive aggressive. They
you. Mhm.
present as passive, but they behave aggressively.
Mhm.
So, as Great Mother said, all of us have these unique personalities, right? Based on our cosmic calculus and based on specifically our moon sign. So, we always remind ourselves at this stage of the class to remember that. Remember
Mhm.
that when you do your readings, although we're learning general readings, you always want and need to be aware of how your particular moon sign operates in the cosmic calculus. In other words, what sign it is, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, etc., what house it's in, 1 through 12, and what phase the moon is in. So today is the 26th of November already. Can you believe it?
I
It is
know,
the
right?
new moon. It's the new moon today. And so we were talking about the full moon just last week and the effects of that. And so today and tonight is the new moon in the Vedic astrology. It is Scorpio. In the Western, it is Sagittarius. Of course, if you're still making your new moon wishes, you want to make those wishes based on Sagittarius characteristics you would like to develop because we wish in our Western moon sign. I'm sorry, we wish based on the Western new moon sign. Okay. And that is because the soul
Mm.
has no desire with regard to the new moon. The soul is eternal.
Mm.
It does have this evolutionary unction and what it wants to do this lifetime, including the soul contract to heal MDT. But that's the general kind of a thing. The ego is the one that has this laundry list of stuff. The soul doesn't have that.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so, in order for us to align the ego with the soul, we operate from our Vedic astrology as we evolve. Okay. We don't initially, it takes a while of working with Great Mother. But when you do evolve to the moon sign, you still make your new moon wishes on the Western. For example, I'm Scorpio moon. I'm sorry, I'm Taurus moon. And so that is a whole different conversation I have with Great Mother with the Oracle deck on a daily basis based on my moon being in Taurus. But when the new moon comes, each sign has one new moon a year. And so Aries leadership, Taurus security finances, Gemini communication, Cancer motherhood, home, real estate, Leo, the ruler of his own domain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In those areas, you get to wish what you would like for your life in those energetic areas because Great Mother is seeding the collective consciousness in the
Hmm.
world that we are in, not of. She's seeding consciousness in the world that we're in at that time
Hmm.
based on that collective consciousness. And so the collective consciousness is Western astrology because it is the consciousness that creates all the desire, very materialistic, because the
Mhm.
egocentric astrology is based on the Earth's perspective of the cosmos. It's Earth centric. And so it's me, 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 me. Okay. And so that's okay as long as it's not out of balance. Everything is about balance. But the
Make
thing is, because it is about me, 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 and it's just seeing things from its perspective, when you want something that's just for you, not to heal MDT, so much to serve other people, although eventually it becomes all about that. But
Mm.
still, you make new moon wishes based on the energy. And so the energy is Sagittarius, which is all about the sage. So you want to be more wise, you want to be more intuitive, you want to have a new guru in your life, a new teacher about something that you want to learn. You want to heal a Sagittarius part of your body, the legs, the whatever. You make new moon wishes based on that. Okay?
Got it.
All right. So now the new moon phase is about making plans. So in the processing suit, the plans that we are making emerge from what we've already established and what you've said that you learned already about loving detachment, which is all about taking care of yourself first. And then with self inquiry, after we have acknowledged the MDT and after we have begun to deal with the abandonment and the abuse in terms of we are worthy of more than that as divine children. Now, what am I going to do with self inquiry? You know, self
Mm-hmm.
inquiry is all about that.
Right.
Now, with processing, we have to process all of this.
Okay.
You know, we have to process.
Meaning
But the,
all of what we've just learned in these other new suits, right? And we've discovered, we've okay, got it. I'm with you. We've acknowledged it's now how do I feel about this?
how do I feel about this? How am I going to live with this new awareness? I mean, you know, I've lived my whole life with shame, blame, and guilt. And now I'm going to have to practice this. I'm a what? A dearly what? Divine who? You know, okay, never judge, condemn. How is that possible? Or left alone?
Or how does that play out in, I'll just say, kind of like an everyday life, right? So
Exactly.
even from even from the perspective of, hey, you shouldn't like I was sitting in a place and listening to somebody just beat up on they made a mistake and I'm like, okay, get over it.
Hmm.
And but instead, oh, I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad at myself. Got it, noted. Why are we still talking about this 2 hours later? Okay, so
Right.
and it's like, okay, so then got it. And so is it so now what are we gonna do about it? Or does that really help matters? Right. So have you learned from it what you need to learn? Right? Is that what we're talking about? Grieving. There we go. Not wanting to let it go. Not ready to let go of the control. Not ready, right? Or not even accepting the truth.
Just
Okay,
not ready. But
got it.
but 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 if you grieve, that's why grieving is so important. That's why it is so important that we grieve because grieving is having to let go when you're not ready, but to actually do it, to actually let go, even though you're not ready, allows you to be in the moment. Like you said, continue the conversation. Next. But you cannot continue the conversation. And so many people are still stuck in a conversation that is back in 1998. That's why I don't
Yeah.
talk to my family because I'm not there. I'm not in 1998. Now, I'm open to talking about 1998 for a
But
little
not
while,
living there.
so I
Yeah.
can talk to you, but maybe about 10 minutes a year, maybe, but been there, done that. So, processing is all about seeing the portal, and the portal is a doorway into our personal power. It
Mm.
is a doorway into looking at really why am I unhappy as a divine child? How do I work with this in my daily life? You said. Well, we have to begin to actually answer these questions as they come up in our lives. Why am I unhealthy if I have the birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, which this suit teaches the birthright because Dorothy receives them in the ruby red slippers in Munchkin Land. Why am I broken? How do I defend my divine birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole? I'm just now finding this out, but obviously nobody else knows this about me either. So how am I going to protect this little baby, that is me, that I'm me. How am I going to define boundaries to do it when I realize what those boundaries need to be? And then how do I establish those boundaries after I've defined them? It's one thing to know that I need boundaries, but I'm going to have to go out here like a soldier. How do I do
Right.
that?
Cutting
And
folks
then,
down.
right. And then after I establish the boundaries, the boundaries were just put up by me. Anybody can come and knock them down. How am I going to maintain them?
Mm-hmm.
This is what the processing suit is about. This is the P in aspire. And so we aspire to be able to process this real power struggle within ourselves in a happy, healthy, and whole way. And so we do this with the MDT 9 card spread. Now, this is about time, space, and awareness to go from MDT to divinity identity, as I just said. It's a 9 card spread, which starts with the center card, what the core issue is. And the core
Mm.
issue with regard to why you're unhappy, why I'm unhealthy, why I might be broken, or you might need to defend your divine right to be happy, healthy, and whole. The core of that is the center card. What's bringing up this core issue is above it, the transformational opportunity of this core issue. What is the opportunity to transform and evolve based on the core issue that's bringing up this unhealthiness, this unhappiness, this sense of unholiness? To the left of the top card is your approach to this situation. And so, how are you approaching this situation? How are you dealing with this situation? And to the right of the top card, what not to overlook. So, as you go through the 9 cards, what you begin to see is that there's a setup on the top 3 cards above the core issue that has to do with where you are now, where your soul is wanting to go, and what not to overlook in order to see that. Because the soul is never wanting to be any place that we don't already intuitively know. A lot of times we think that to work with our soul, we have to be drug along like some kind of voodoo doll. That's not how it works. We are connected. We are the avatar of our soul. If you saw the movie The Avatar, you saw that whenever back at the ship, the soldier pushed a button, it was it was within a second that the avatar knew, and especially the body. The body was the same. If it was injured, if it was hurt, the body and the ship was hurt. And so we are literally just a millisecond from communication. We just have to make the conscious effort to engage it. And that is what personal power is about. The card to the right is the
So I have
shadow.
a quick suggestion. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Let me.
What is your suggestion?
Well, just because as I'm trying to follow along, the number, is it possible to put like a tiny number because there's an order to how you lay them out? Like you were saying, number one should be the core, number two, or is it just as long as you got the position, does it really matter whether it's first, second, or third?
Well, it really doesn't matter. The most important thing is, and you're going to notice this, the more details you may be requesting, because I've been paying attention to this.
Okay.
And the more detail that you ask for,
Uh-huh.
you're going to find that if you just do the work of knowing what the positions are,
Yeah.
that's not an issue.
Oh, cool. So, and it doesn't matter, just as long as you got it in the right position, the order in which you place it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, the
Right.
order in which you draw on the cards does not matter.
Well,
Just their placement,
you want to be consistent. That's the thing. That's
whatever
why
your pattern is.
whatever exactly whatever
Mhm.
approach you do, however you lay them down, you might I think that it is true that as long as if you're laying them down whatever way that you decide to lay them down, that you consistently do that and you read from that lay,
Mm. Okay.
Okay, that you read from that leg. Because otherwise you're just going to confuse yourself until you have some mastery over the spread. I would not just willy-nilly lay down the cards without having a mastery of knowing what each position is before you do that.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense. And I guess that I was more because I was just getting distracted with, wait, number one is in the dead center. Wait, how do I know that? Right? How do I know that one is the core? And then, oh, now I need to go. Number two is, number up and to the left, and oh, now I need to go over and to the right. So that's what I meant. Where sometimes that kind of
I
order and
understand. I
that,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit last week. That's what I'm saying. I looked at this and paid attention to it, even with the spread that we
yeah,
did last week.
yep,
But the important thing is that they are laid down in an order. They
yeah,
have to be in an order. They can't just be, okay, this is a 5 card spread. I just willy-nilly lay them out. No.
no, no,
This is a
gotcha.
5 card spread. I know if it's a personal power spread. I know if it's an acknowledgement spread. I know if it's a self inquiry spread. I know what kind of spread I'm doing. I know because you need to have your antenna up in terms of
Mm-hmm,
what question you're asking.
mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
when people do things like that, that's why not everybody needs to read oracles. Not everybody needs to do this kind of communication because it's no different than if you are a medical tech and the doctor said this patient needs so and so cc's, and anybody can give a shot as long as you know where the vein is. Any druggies do that on the street and they be high as I don't know what. Anybody can do that, but
Mm,
that's not where you are.
mm-mm,
You in a doctor's
mm-mm.
office and he said give 33 cc's of that, and there's no debate about going back and forth about it. And so
I
that's
get it.
it's no different here.
Fair enough. That's fair.
The
Okay.
language has to be learned. The signs and
Mhm,
symbols, I can't help with that. I mean, that has to be,
mhm.
you have to go over it and over and over and over. After you know that, and after you know, oh, about this many pushes is 3 cc's, I ain't even got to look at it. After you know that, cool. But until you do, that's how it needs to be.
Got it.
All right. So we aspire to live in loving detachment. That's what the whole thing is all about, is that
Yeah.
aspiration. And so every aspire card is a I'm sorry, this is not the aspire card. The aspire card for this is this right? No. The aspire card for this, I think isn't anyway. That is the old law card for processing, Mother Mary.
Okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
okay. But the the point about this slide is that when you start with each suit, you have the moon phase of the balsamic moon. Okay, so over to the left, next to the purple, the balsamic moon, completion and reseed. That's always the A, the S, the P, the I, the R, or the E. That's why we just had the aspire slide.
Mhm,
That phase of the moon, the balsamic moon. And after that is the law card. And then
mhm.
after that, you see how this is kind of going backwards,
So
okay?
mhm,
Because the actual moon phase starts with the new moon, the crescent, the action, whatever. But I'm just showing you so you can see the process of the cards that we're doing. So we start off with aspiring to live in loving detachment. And so we have an aspire card today of processing the gut yellow chakra. This is the third quarter moon card, which is the law card in the old deck, Mother Mary. Now, that's important to see because it really does show that double yang symbol. And that's what we're talking about. We have to consciously activate that communication. And that's what your question was just about. Your question was like, so how do I do this? Because I am doing this and I want to do it right, right? And so I
mhm.
want to, and so, yes, because we are consciously saying, I want this connection with my soul. So I don't have any surprises in areas that I need to be happy, healthy, and whole, to be in alignment. And so, what those do, they let us know that there's no judgment or condemnation for any of how we're feeling or what we're experiencing, but there are consequences. And so, what are the consequences? Well, there are consequences to not living in loving detachment. There are consequences to not living in our divinity. And the
Mm.
Balsamic Moon Aspire cards, okay, the Balsamic Moon cards, they, and this is then the old deck for this one, tell us what we're downloading. The Manipura chakra is the gut chakra. And what we download into our gut chakra and from our gut chakra are survival vibes.
Mm.
We intuit whether or not our self confidence, what we can do, is being challenged. And in this scene that symbolizes this card, Dorothy has returned to the farm and is being told by Aunt Em, "You just had a bad dream." This is the crux of the issue, Monica,
Mm.
in terms of what we're processing in this suit.
Mm.
I've been living with shame, blame, and guilt and mama drama trauma, but I've had this journey that's been teaching me about loving myself and trusting myself and taking my power back, that I'm a divine child who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. And I'm still around these people who telling me what?
That you just had a bad dream. Like, oh, it ain't real. You all
Yeah,
right. It's no big deal. You don't know what you want. Oh, you just think you want that.
but we
Oh, you
love
just
you.
being
We love
mean.
you.
Yeah,
We love you
we love
though.
you. You being mean. You don't know what's going on. Sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oops. Don't get me started today. I am in rare form.
I see. So this is what this card is when it shows up. It's exactly that rare form, letting it go. Just letting it go. Just being like, hey,
Wild woman at her finest.
mm-hmm. Just
Because
saying
even a wild woman card is somewhere in the deck. I know.
that's fifth
Mama.
chakra. That's fifth chakra.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So this is our
Back to the
response
public.
to that kind of attitude toward us with the
And
processing card. The processing card, and this is the processing suit. It's all about letting things go. That conscious effort to from Great Mother. When we get this card, we're downloading that we need to let it go.
and
Okay?
just to confirm, that was the balsamic moon on that card, and it
The
was for
balsamic
completion and
gut
receipt.
chakra moon card. Yeah. The
Perfect.
gut chakra balsamic moon card.
Thank you.
And this is the third quarter moon card because it is the law card of the suit. And all the
Yes.
law cards tell us what?
To release.
Right. They tell us what must be done
Action.
in order to receive the clarity, balance, and confirmation that we need. And there's something that we have to do. There's something that we have to let go. And so it's kind of a double let go with the processing suit when you have the law card
Hmm.
of Mother Mary because it's double yang. So, where have we seen the yang symbol before? In the
Law of
acknowledge
mystery
card.
of design order and divine order.
You got it. The root chakra. Very good. Acknowledge card. The acknowledge card
Mm.
is the single yang root chakra third quarter moon card. It is the law card of mystery and divine order. That one is all about
Mother Mary.
well, that one is Akhenaten, isn't it? This one is Mother Mary. Um because she is the mother energy of this material realm, of the collective consciousness. This Mary, whether she's the Mary of Jesus' mother, or whether she's Maryam, the wife of Muhammad, whether she is Marie, there are Marias, there are Buddha's mother was Mary,
Mm.
may happen. So whatever mother it is, Mary Magdalene, this mother energy is the mother of the material world.
Hmm.
And this mother of the material world is always associated with this divine child. And this divine child has the birthright through her to be what?
Happy, healthy, and whole.
That's always its destiny, ain't it?
Mhm.
It's always that child's destiny. Whoever the Mary is, her baby gonna be straight.
Mhm.
I don't know about y'all kids, but my baby's gonna be straight, not just because I'm that kind of mom, but because I'm that mom. I'm that mom where my
Mm.
child is even going to teach other people how to be happy, healthy, and what.
Oh,
That's what kind of mom
complete.
I'm that mom. I'm that mom. My
Mm.
child's gonna teach people how to be happy, healthy, and whole. I'm her. I'm her. So that's Mother Mary. That's Mother Mary. And she does. She is the womb that carries that energy of our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. And so the law is to release any and everything that keeps us from being what? Happy,
Happy,
healthy, and
healthy,
whole.
and whole.
So the new
Sorry.
so the new moon in this suit is all about us entering into that dark night of awareness of, okay, so what does this mean for me? What does this
Mhm.
mean in my life? I got a blank page on this. I got some fallow soil. Maybe I experienced it in another lifetime and my soil just ain't been churned up this lifetime. But let me observe, let me rest, let me wait for some light, some guidance
Oh,
on this. And
us.
that's the conscious act. That's the double yang act. The single yang was the acknowledgement that
Okay.
something is awry here. Let me take care of myself. The double yang is something has arisen. I am taking care of myself, and now I'm awaiting. I'm ready to act on my orders, on further orders, because I'm
But you're patiently waiting though for that signal to act on further
in this
orders.
card. You are in
Okay.
this card. You are. And what is the new moon card? The new moon card is Durga, boundaries. The new moon card in the updated deck has to do with us really being able to recognize that Durga is that mother of the cosmos that is very instrumental in transformation. She is the gut chakra energy, that fire, that agony that burns within us, that really reminds us that there is a difference between lower and higher consciousness. The gut chakra is right below our heart chakra, and it is a boundary of sorts. Mama drama trauma exists primarily in the lower chakras, 1, 2, and 3. This is the last chakra in terms of the mama portion of mama drama trauma. It is also chakras 1 through 3 that have to do with the reptilian brain, that root part of our
Mm.
brain. This is the instinct of the body. And in terms of our moon phases, this suit is very specific with regard to the new moon, the crescent moon, and the first quarter moon. And so this new moon card is very powerful with regard to what you said, sitting and waiting for her guidance with regard to how to transition from this phase into the next.
Mm.
Sitting and waiting and listening to her guidance in other instances when Durga appears with regard to the boundaries we need to define, the boundaries we must establish, and the boundaries we need to maintain. So, the Durga card with regard to boundaries is not only about the monastery or the ashram that we're protecting against others, but that space that we need in order to be at peace with her and with ourselves get that guidance about transitioning from one place to another. That is the Durga card. Now, the crescent moon card is the phase that has to do with the what? Planning, nurturing, moving forward once we have received that guidance. And that's what the crescent moon is all about. In the gut chakra processing suit, this is the traditional Pele card when Durga has, after crossing the threshold from the black and white world of the farm into Munchkin land, she's greeted by Glinda the Good Witch, who asks her, "Are you a good witch or a bad witch?" The Pele card is our gut reaction, our gut desire with regard to, am I going to fulfill the lower chakra energy of mama drama trauma in this situation? Or am I going to respond woke? Am I going to be awake? Am
Mm,
I going to actually activate my divine birthright?
mm. Okay.
So the
Mm,
Pele, the crescent moon card, is that light beginning to be reflected by Great Mother. It's just a slither of light, but it's enough light for us to identify whether we are identifying with shame, blame, and guilt,
mhm.
or health,
Yeah.
happiness, and wholeness.
Yep, that makes sense.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Okay, using our power to
Mm.
help ourselves or using our power to hurt ourselves. That is what that means. Now, the third card of this suit is the first quarter moon card that has to do with having the courage to make a decision, to face a challenge, and specifically to take action because now we have half moonlight. So half of the moon is lit. So we can see a lot more now. We can make a decision now. We can actually trust our gut a lot more now with regard to the fire, the purification that it's giving us, the clarity. This is the traditional Moses card, learning and living the law, when Dorothy is praised by the mayor of Munchkin Land for killing the wicked witch of the East. Now, with the first quarter moon energy, the desire here with Moses is to develop a true sense of confidence, of self acceptance, of really embracing that divinity. Because as we learn to live the law, and here, what's the law in this suit, Monica?
Learning. Oh, so it's learning and living.
The law card in the processing suit.
Is Moses. Wait, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, I always bring this up just as a little test for first quarter and third quarter moon energy, because what we want to distinguish is between first quarter moon energy, which is about facing the challenge to make a decision, and we want to distinguish between lawsuit energy, which is third quarter moon energy.
Which
That
is the doing, right?
the third quarter moon card in that suit is the Mother Mary card.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood the question. My
I,
bad.
I, right. I do that each
Dang
week.
it.
I trick it up each week because it's important to know the difference. It takes a while, I know, to know the difference between the first quarter moon and the third quarter moon. Okay, so this is third quarter
Mhm.
moon. Third quarter moon, all of the law cards are third quarter moon cards where the
Right.
darkness is to the right. And so you
This
always
is
have a
right.
picture to the right on the law cards because that's the dark side of the moon.
Oh,
That's the dark
okay.
side of the moon. And so that is the release, the letting go, the grieving. That's the letting go. That's the law card. That's what must be done in order to process whatever's coming up in the spread, which is different from the first quarter moon.
Go back
And
to the first quarter
the
moon.
first quarter moon is where the light is to the right and the darkness is to the
On
left.
the left. Oh, good
Okay.
point. Good point. Thank you.
Okay, so each week we want to do a little quiz on that. And so this week, the Moses card is the quiz for the first quarter moon, and the Mother Mary card is the third quarter moon. The Moses card, living and learning law. It's all about that righteousness, that righteousness. People confuse righteousness with perfection. Righteousness is not perfection. We are already perfect as we are because we're divine children. Righteousness, however, is being lawful with regard to living our divinity. Are
Mm.
we living the law of divinity? That's righteousness.
Okay.
Righteousness is behavior that is soul inspired. And the soul is inspired to live as divinity, which is why it's an aspiration. This is something that even the soul is evolving to. The eternal part of ourselves is evolving to that. And that's why we have so much support as we align with it, because that's what the soul wants to do. We just have to agree with that intention, and the world is ours.
Mhm.
We start burning karma like crazy. The astrological chart has less and less hold on us. We just use it like a calendar to plan a trip once we align with it.
Go on with it. I got you. Okay. Mhm.
So, this is the first quarter moon card, and the Gibbous moon card that's building up to the full moon is Lilith, traditionally the personal power card. This is when Dorothy is bestowed the ruby red slippers by Glinda the Good Witch. And the ruby red slippers symbolize what?
Tuition.
They symbolize our birthright.
Ah.
They're red, and so that's associated with the root chakra. And so that birthright, birth through the womb, we can always remember it that way, coming through the mother, that root chakra,
Red. Yeah.
the red. And so that red coming through our mother, whether she knows it or not, and obviously she doesn't because she has MDT, but whether
Mm.
I knew it or not yesterday, I know today because Glinda the Good Witch just gave me what?
Your birthright. Your red shoes.
But when that shows up in your spread, she's giving them to you again to remind us of what?
Who we are, divine children of the great
Right.
Father, Mother God.
Well, specifically, the ruby red slippers are our birthright. The birthright
Mhm.
is our birthright is to be
Be
happy,
happy,
healthy, and
healthy, and
whole.
whole.
That's our birthright.
Mhm.
Our identity
Oh, divine.
is divinity.
Mhm.
And as divine children, dearly loved of the great Mother, Father, God, who are never judged, condemned, and left alone, that's our divinity. But because we are divine, we have a birthright. We
To
have
be
an inheritance to be what?
happy, healthy, and whole.
Right. And so she gave Dorothy her birthright. And that is our personal power. Our birthright is our power. When you're healthy, you're powerful. When you're happy and at peace, you're powerful. And all of them require peace. Cannot be happy without peace. Cannot be healthy without peace. It's impossible. Cannot be whole without peace. They all require peace. And so that's why boundaries, the processing suit is so important. In this phase of the moon, the waxing gibbous moon, we are therefore, since the new moon of Durga, coming to this realization, wow, I'm gonna have to really move forward with this. Let me, act on the guidance that I'm getting because this is all new to me. I'm being guided in how to do it, but this is kind of making me fall back a little bit. Some things have worked with establishing boundaries, some things haven't. Some things I thought about what it meant to be happy, healthy, and whole are true and they resonate with my soul, and I'm totally supported in doing that. And some things don't. Some old things I thought were healthy, that made me happy, made me whole. I'm finding out they really don't. And this is really tripping me out. This is the waxing gibbous card. It's about revising, reevaluation, editing. This is gut chakra, and we know the truth from our gut. This card in this deck is called the Lilith card. Lilith is our personal power. When we are truthful with ourselves, we are able to revise what it means to be healthy,
Mm.
happy, and whole.
Mhm. Mhm.
It changes.
Mm. Mhm.
I
And
mean,
that's
it's changing.
okay.
Oh, it's necessary because the frequency of your I mean, you are actually resonating on a different level. Means that your body at a certain level, it just can no longer consume. And I'm having to deal with that all the time. I'm having to deal with that all the time. There are just some environments it cannot be around. And it's not a judgment. There's never judgment or condemnation. It's just a choice. Do you want to resonate with that energy, or do you want to what phase you want to be in? What
Mm.
energy do you want to express? It's up to us to determine our own happiness, our own health, our own wholeness. And that's it. That's when the Lilith card shows up. And so this is our gut desire with regard to that. When the full moon comes in its full expression, what we begin to see with the processing suit is a ripening,
What is that? Oh,
a fullness, plumpness of the fruit.
go back. What was? Go ahead. Keep
And
going.
so the full moon card is
I, lo- I love it.
Demeter. And so this fire, and fire is also represented by Mars. And so Mars rules the gut chakra. Okay. And what do we mean by that? Because Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. And although those are not the only fire sign, there is Aries. Scorpio is a water sign. The fire has to do with the chakra. And so the gut chakra is a fire chakra, Agni. Our digestive fires, you've probably heard. When those fires go out, people get constipated. You may have heard that language. And so this has to do in the full moon of processing is acceptance. Just the discipline to be in our divinity without judgment or condemnation, but with curiosity instead. So when this card shows up, especially with a lot of second chakra cards, self-inquiry suit cards, it's really inviting us to I can wait until you're done with whatever you're doing.
I'm listening. I'm taking screenshots as we go along too.
I just kept on hearing something like a recording coming on. I don't know.
A recording coming out.
I keep hearing like music or a sound of someone's voice.
I don't hear anything, and there's nothing going on here.
Do you
I
hear it?
no, I don't hear anything.
Okay, because I thought you did a minute ago when you were saying, "What is that?" I heard it too.
When I said, "What is that?" that was in response to me looking at the fruit, and that's why I said, "Please go back." And when I said go back, that was because I wanted to see the decaying or ripened or plumped fruit that you were showing. But you kept moving forward, so I assumed that we
Oh,
didn't have time.
well, it's the full moon definition here. It's not that we
I,
didn't have time, but a lot of this stuff is repetition.
no, I understand. I just saw a new image, and I thought that was an interesting image. That was all. That
Oh,
was my only request.
because the timing of when you said that was the exact same time that I heard like a radio, and then I was like, okay, and then I just heard it again. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm just kind of waiting. And I'm taking notes, so I am taking kind of some screenshots like I normally do, and I'm taking notes down like I normally do.
it's some kind of cross wire, but you know how it is when it's season down here. Everything's slow up and everything. People,
Yeah, because I've been getting some delays on my side, but I just thought it was my internet. So, but anyway, go ahead.
So, did you get your question answered about the fruit?
No, I didn't, but that's okay. I'll listen. I'll see it again when I can pause the recording.
Well, that's what the
Keep
full
going.
moon. That's what the full moon is. The full moon is symbolized by the um, the ripening of fruit. You know, you plant the seed. That's like the new moon, and you start getting a sprout and some twigs growing. That's the crescent moon, and then you get a trunk with some stronger leaves going. You know, that's the first quarter moon, and then you get the wax gibbous, some fruit coming out, new fruit budding, and it's growing. That's the waxing gibbous. And the full moon is when it's ripe. Hello?
Uh-huh. I hear you. Keep going.
So that's what is meant by ripe.
Oh, I know. I know what that means.
But that's what I was talking about. You said the question wasn't answered. I just answered it when I was talking about ripeness.
Oh, no. No, no, no. Sorry, the question that I was asking was just it was actually just to see the image. That was it. That was all. So if you go back, you build on slides. That was my only question. It was real simple. It's real basic. That's what I was trying to look at. I was like, "Wait, what is that?" Because it looked different to me.
Yeah, it's very difficult to show a full moon because it's all white.
Okay, and I thought that that was supposed to be like a oh, I see, with all of the craters and stuff. Okay, I thought that it was just the as if it was like a ripened orange that was like overripe or like an overripe peach. That's what the question was.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's
it was real simple. I
it's
mean,
just full
literally.
moon. Yeah, and because you see here that the full moon on that deck was just white. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, so that is that, and that's the full moon. Did we do the full moon? Yeah, we did the full moon. Okay, so the full
Yeah.
moon is
Yeah.
Demeter. No, we didn't do the full moon. Okay, Demeter. Demeter
Immature.
is when the disciplined mother is making sure that you are staying real with your feelings. Because if you're not real with your feelings, you're not going to be in alignment.
Right. We did this one.
Accept your feelings. No, we didn't do this one.
Oh, not the last line. I did take a screenshot of that one. Yeah, and I wrote down. Yeah, because keep going. You had the accepting your feelings. You showed the old one, and then you walk through the ripe elimination, purification. Yeah.
Well, that scene didn't stay up there with the full moon. The full moon was Dorothy asking Glinda the Good Witch how to get back home to Kansas.
Okay.
Okay, and so um, why is that so important in your processing journey? She's asking her to go back home, and she has just intellectually understood divinity. She hasn't experienced it yet. So it's
Hmm.
not time for her to go back home. Yeah, you might want to go back home, but what Glinda says to her is, I don't know which way, to go back home. Um, Ask Oz. You're gonna need to go to Oz. And Dorothy's like, well, I can't go home the same way I came. And she said, well, no, go a different way. Why is that so important? Because Great Mother is going to always guide us to the truth of how we feel, point blank and period. But she's not going to force us. She's not going to force us. It's always about what we want. And so when the Demeter card shows up, what we are wanting is to accept our feelings, but we need permission. It's almost like we feel like we have to have permission to accept our feelings. And
Hmm.
as a divine child, we have to own how we feel. And that's what Dorothy did. She said, show me the way home. I hear all you saying. You gave me these shoes. I got a birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. Okay, all right, all right. I'm ready to go back home. I'm ready to go back into this toxic environment. If that's the case, accept how you feel. It's when this card comes up. Great Mother's going to always give the guidance that we need to get what we want. That's why new moon wishes are made in the Western astrology. Because if you want something, even if it's not, that's why there's no judgment. It's not what's good for you and what's not. It's what's going to evolve you and what's not. And everything evolves. That's why they say there's never any failure because we grow through everything. You know, like sometimes we'll say, "Oh, I prayed so much for that man, and it was the worst thing. You know, I could have." You know, when you get older, and it's like you get what you want. You know, and she wanted to go home, but yeah, she gets home, but not before she has a journey. And so all things work together for the what?
Good for them that love the Lord. That's good.
Hey, and she was gonna have to go to a journey before she went home, but grandma's gonna tell her how to get home. Yeah, you gonna get what you want, baby. But you know, we're gonna learn some stuff on the way. Demeter shows up, it's saying, whatever that truth is, accept it, love yourself, because if you don't, it's gonna come out anyway.
So, like, if you, again, going with something that may be superficial, right? So, if it's like, hey, you just love to eat a half a pint of ice cream every night, accept that about yourself. Not the healthiest option. Just accept it. But maybe instead of getting the most calorie, you get the skinny. You, get some skinny thing, but don't beat yourself up about it. Just accept it. Something simple. And I'm using a very simple example.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Exactly. You know.
Or is it that you may have a feeling or you want what you want? It doesn't really make sense to you. You don't really understand it, but you're trusting what you're feeling at that moment.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. You just going with it. You just letting it be what it is. But when this card shows up, it's kind of like saying, okay, let's take a pause for a minute. You know, let's take a beat for a minute and let's check in. Let's just check in.
See how you
And
to
whatever,
actually be truthful with yourself and actually see how you're feeling because
exactly,
you might not be being honest with yourself.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Or you are being honest. Remember, all the cards have yin and yang. You
Yep.
might not be being honest with yourself, as you said, but you might be being very honest with yourself and you're not giving yourself credit.
Mm.
You know, you really need to recognize that, yeah, you're right. How you feel, that's how you feel. Yeah. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we're like, now I've been feeling this way. And I'm like, and sometimes when Demeter shows up, it's kind of like a confirmation that, yeah, accept it. That's how you feel about it. It's okay, babe. It's okay. That's how you feel. Just so you
Got
get
it.
that clarity, you know.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And the final card, the sixth card, is the waning gibbous after full moon. That curtain of Great Mother starts to come across that bright full moon. And so that curtain to the right, that's the waning gibbous. That's the reaping moon. Okay, so after the fruit has burst open, we reap it, right?
Hmm.
Uh-huh, and so that's why that phase is called the reaping moon, the Thanksgiving and sharing, because you get so much, sometimes you're just giving it away, you know? That's the waning gibbous moon, okay, after the full moon, and the traditional card there
Oh
is Mave. What'd you say?
no, I think I can answer my own question. Keep going.
This card is Mave. This is the final card of the processing suit. And it is that path image that Great Mother gave me. Oh my gosh, look, it is the only lower suit card in this deck that has any color in it.
Oh.
And that's the image that Great Mother gave us for our meditation.
Hmm.
Stay on the path, confirm the path, because it will hold you in good stead. Own your path, own those ways. Like you said, even though I'm eating this half pint of ice cream, this is a way that I have been self mothering myself. And now I'm starting to take responsibility for accepting my feelings as well. I'm starting to feel that this may not be the best thing for me to have every night. So even if I still want that feeling of cream and chocolate or whatever, I know you don't like chocolate,
Mm-mm.
strawberry, vanilla, you know, you like strawberry. I love that in my mouth. I can let me find a way I can still have it in my mouth, but it won't be as unhealthy for my body,
Mhm.
you know. That is the Mave card.
Mhm.
That is Demeter in the sense that you could have this in the same spread. You could have in some position, it's asking you something, and Demeter might show up in that reading and be saying, yeah, except that's how you feel. You want you some ice cream, girl. And Mave might show up in a different position. Take responsibility for that feeling. Own it. Follow the yellow brick road. And the yellow brick road is our path to health, happiness, and wholeness. It's
Hmm.
that path. It's the gut chakra, that yellow brick road, that instinctual voice, that survival part of our brain, that knee jerk. And it's often very fearful, which is why it is in the mama section of the phrase mama drama trauma.
Mhm.
Acknowledge, self inquiry, and processing are the first three suits: first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, with survival. That's mama.
Hmm. Okay.
Next week, we start with integrity
Mhm.
and then rebirth, which is the drama.
Oh.
Okay. And emancipation is the trauma. So as
Hmm.
we
That's
close,
interesting.
mhm, as we close the reptilian part of the brain, the mama part, and we close also the first through the third chakras, let's be sure to be clear about the meaning of the Mave card. This Mave card, as the Munchkins are singing, Follow the Yellow Brick Road, is about taking responsibility.
Mhm.
This is an attitude of gratitude card for following the yellow brick road.
Okay.
Being glad that we have a yellow brick road to follow. A lot of people out here struggling and suffering and got no guidance. And not that we compare oneself to the other, but we were that person just a minute ago. And now we have a path, although it be an internal one. It is a path that is taking us toward our true um, desire to live and to be divine. Now, I know I have gut chakra here, desire, but desire was more self inquiry. Um, Gut chakra is desire too, but it's more about self control, like inner strength, like your confidence. You know, self inquiry was more self esteem, how you
Oh.
feel about who you are. You so not being judgmental, but being self curious.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is more self confidence. You know, that energy of
So, which is interesting because the question that I was going to ask earlier, and I said, no, I think I can answer my own question. I'll go ahead and just kind of tell you what I was going to ask, but answered. Um, for when you were talking about similar to with the gut chakra and the desire, where I like the distinction that you're making, that it's between the two, right? Like there's this self confidence versus like that's during self inquiry, like hey, like believe in yourself, you're good, right? Whereas now you have that, you're confident, you've done the work because you have moved up right through these steps. But
well, this
here's where
processing, you don't have it yet. No, you don't
yeah,
have
but you
you
still
are
working
working
on it.
on self confidence. Self
Okay,
confidence and self esteem are two different things.
that's what I meant, self-esteem,
Second,
sorry.
second chakra, self esteem, is about feeling good about who you are.
Gotcha.
Self
Okay.
confidence is what you're working on and processing. You're processing all this stuff so you can have that confident sense of divinity. You're working on that. And so self confidence is feeling good about what you do.
Gotcha.
Are you taking responsibility and following the yellow brick road? Are you defining, establishing, and maintaining those boundaries? Are you identifying with your divinity or your MD? What are you doing? Double yang, great father
Mm,
law, birthright. What are you doing about your birthright? What are you letting go in terms of
okay.
shame, blame, guilt, and empathy in order for you to have more room to experience that divinity and accept your feelings with love?
Okay. Because when I was thinking about like the sharing part of this, like for me, just a red flag kind of came up to say, be careful, right? Like you're overflowing where you've got bounds and bouncing on top of bouncing that you're overflowing and giving. But you got to be careful from that of slipping back into an old MDT pattern where you are being, you are just over giving, over sharing. You know what I mean? And that people pleasing, taking care of everybody else but yourself mode. Like that's what I was going to say or um suggest replay or what have you. I don't know. I just that distinction for me just kind of called out again.
Well, I can imagine why you are glowing. You are re-entering your work with that whole new disposition that great mother opened up with, that we have this path and to just assert it. And so you are doing that, you're living it, you're walking it, and people are seeing it and they're wanting a piece, they're wanting some. And you have such a bright light and you have such a big heart to share that light. Yes, that makes total and utter sense. And this suit is very important for you in terms of when it's showing up at this particular time for that very reason. Yes, you have done all of that work, but now that you are returning back to the world that we are not of, but we are in, that's a whole different balancing thing. So at
Yes.
first you were coming out of that world into the world that we are of, and so that was a balancing, to get, with that. And so now that you're returning back to that, it's another. So yeah, yeah, that makes total sense
Hmm.
that you would be feeling that, Monica, and that you would be experiencing that. So I'm glad that the class is being helpful for you. And so, having said that, did you lay out 9 cards, or would you like to lay out 9 cards, or would you like me to?
Um, I'll take the practice. I'll do it. I am not feeling confident. I will tell you that much. I'm seeing nine. I'm like, that's something else. Okay, let's do this.
Practice makes perfect. What do they say? Repetition is the mother of skill. Speaking of great mother.
Mhm, exactly. All right.
It might be a good idea that you're not totally in your, you know, bright mind of the day. That's more great mother energy.
Wait.
Yeah, she comes when we're more relaxed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. So I got them laid out. I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you.
Okay. She's always there. It's not that she comes during that time, but we can hear her. We can hear her because we're more relaxed.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm
in
here.
other words, don't be, apprehensive about what comes up, because that's really what she wants to work with us. That space, that part of ourselves with this deck. That's really what she wants, is to work with that part of us. But I can understand it's still some mechanical things, and we'll work those out. But that's not the main thing that I'm looking for, is that intuitive opening up. But I'm going to walk you through the technical parts as well, because that's what she has called me to do, so that you can refine that clarity, that balance, that confirmation. You see what I'm saying? Oh, good idea, Monica. Good idea. Okay, I like this, girl. Thinking with a good mind. as the old folks used to say. She thinking with a good mind.
Good
I know that's
mind.
right, Monica. Be thinking with her good mind. Okay. Um, I love it. Okay. Um, oh, Tammy.
So just trying to figure out, how to. So just so that you know, because I was being consistent. So I know you're like, hey, just be consistent because I was asking about the order.
Yeah.
So I laid them out. I'm good. I
Uh-huh.
followed my order. I'm like, this is something that I could remember instead of like, oh, there's one, two, three. So
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. You remembered your order. Okay,
I
that's
did.
good. And so keep that in your that feather in your hat, so to speak. What we want to do first is to basically say, "Hey, what is our center card here?"
Hmm.
Okay, and then we're gonna say, "Well, what's on top of that, and what's the shadow?" But if you laid your cards in a way that you felt was more directly answering your question, after the center card, we will go to that card that you laid first, if it wasn't the center card.
Oh, okay. Got
Do
it.
you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying.
Now, what was your question?
The question was, while going through this process and maintaining the boundaries, what do I need to reassure myself about and to maintain and stay the course?
To maintain what?
And stay the course. Just get so tired sometimes. I get tired. And just again, it's about understanding.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. In this process of maintaining my boundaries, because I've already done the work to define and establish them, but I'm working on maintaining the boundaries under my current situation. What is it that I need to remind myself of, or to what do I need to know? What do I need to encourage myself about? What thought do I need to guide me in the process of staying on course? Very good question. So here we have Kali in the center, which is the core issue. And so, what does that say to you based on what we know about the signs and symbols of this card?
So it is, let me make sure before I say it out loud. I was gonna say third quarter, but hold on.
So
Hold on.
what we're gonna do first is what first comes to your mind, knowing
Oh,
that you are learning the technical aspects. Okay, we're gonna go with what you got.
oh, okay.
Then
So
we're going
red.
to clarify based
Okay.
on the technical aspects of the card that we're learning.
Okay. So I
Okay?
say, yep, it's red. And so that is uh acknowledgement suit. And so that also for me is root chakra. That's what I thought. And then I looked at the word fear. Like that's what jumped out at me first. The color red and the word fear.
And so, in relationships to your question and it being the core issue, Kali,
What's going through my mind is that I was when you said, "Hey, we'll go through the order if it was the other order." Um, I think I was thinking about the car that I almost put down first. And I was like, "Oh, I might put down the core one first and then go." But that's what's flipping through my head right now. The shoulda, woulda, couldas, and I wonder what that meant. But so
well,
those are
okay,
the
okay,
things.
okay. A word about that. A word about that, because that comes up a lot, in readings. And if a card flips out and this and whatever you do,
Yeah,
it's always about what feels right to you in the moment. That's
yeah,
why each class we open up with what moon phase we're in and what your moon sign is, because we
mhm,
recognize that that changes on a daily basis.
understood.
And sometimes, depending on what transits are happening on an hourly basis, you might have other planets moving in and out of your moon sign in a
Yeah,
day. In a day,
and then
Venus
there's
might be in
craziness going on.
Sagittarius, and then Mars might be moving out. You have you have Pluto, K2, Saturn, and Jupiter in Sagittarius right now. Okay, you got
Yeah,
Saturn about to leave in January. So we have to recognize when we work with Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, this is very important. I'll say it over and over and over again, I'm sure, because people don't believe it, especially coming from other readings. But I'm telling you, if you want to do accurate readings, stay in the moment. Great
under,
Mother is not speaking to anything except this moment right here. The question that you're asking, she's answering it in this moment. If
right.
you ask it again, and you can ask questions one after the other as long as you want. As
Mm,
long as you want. You can have a conversation, just like a phone call with somebody that you can talk to as long as you want to and then stop talking. That's what it is. And
mhm,
what she's saying in response to this now
mm.
is going to be different
In an hour.
based on how you feel,
Makes sense.
because we change. And she's wanting to give us clarity, balance, and confirmation about what?
Ah,
About us. And we're changing because
we
we have her in us.
I get
And
you.
she's always changing. And the planets are changing. We have all the planets in us.
Yeah.
So she can hang with us. We ain't said nothing. We
Yeah.
ain't saying nothing she can't handle. And so we ain't got to worry about none of that. The important thing is right now, the question that you asking right now. If you can stay focused on that and you can be in enough authenticity and integrity with yourself to know whether or not you feel like that card fell out because you needed it or it just fell out and you still want to shuffle, you really didn't want you don't want to be doing that, and you can have enough integrity with yourself to do that, that's what it is.
Mhm, mhm,
But it's when the mental stuff, put the deck down. It's not going to do you any good.
mhm.
It's going to give you more confusion.
That
It
makes
has to
sense.
be really just in the space where you're ready to hear her speak.
And that's actually where I ended up, where when I said, "No, this is what I said I was gonna do, so stick with that." So, yep,
Is the core issue fear?
I think it is.
Okay. So what's bringing this fear up is the Pachamama card. Okay. And so um looking at the signs and symbols of this card,
So again, this is another gut chakra card. Sorry, root chakra. Jesus, root chakra because it's red. Um, this is where I think that this is the support, and so I really think that I need to be grounded, and I just need to. And the fact that I don't feel grounded, I feel like I'm in transition,
mm, mm-hmm.
and I would agree with that. I am very much aware that my life as I know it is changing. I'm
Mhm.
aware. I am aware.
Mhm. And that you're needing more support.
Yeah,
Okay, that's Pachamama, and so that's what's bringing up
but it's also make me I see the words fearless, and
and
so I'm like, "Man, do I need to be fearless and relentless in my approach?" And maybe so. Maybe so. Keep going.
okay. So, um, we have some moon phases here, and we just wanna be mindful of that in terms of the technicality of the root chakra. Both of these are root chakra cards. Very good. Having to deal with what?
Family, foundation.
Family, foundation, the root, and the tribe. And
Mhm.
so there is a great deal of feeling a lack of support that you need at this particular time as you have established your boundaries. And there's some fear with regard to maintaining those boundaries because you do not have the support that you need, and you're needing to um, be grounded. That's what's bringing this up. Okay, so we have here the transitional opportunity. The transitional opportunity is to get that support that you need.
Which one is the transitional opportunity?
Okay,
I can't see it. If you can just blow it up, that's all.
can you see it here?
I can see it. It's just really tiny. Oh, that's better. Okay. Woo. Yes. Transition. Oh, okay. That's the same card. That's Pachamama. Okay.
See, that's the transitional opportunity. So the core issue is root chakra fear, and the transitional opportunity that this fear provides is an opportunity to
Be
get this.
fearless, maybe.
Well, Pachamama, what is Pachamama saying? That is in that position. Pachamama is in the position of the transitional opportunity.
Oh,
Do you see that?
a Pachamama. Yeah. I don't know now. I see it's there, but what I don't know what it means.
It's in the position of transitional opportunity. And so if Pachamama is ground, sea, trees, fairies, that's root chakra card, leaving a bad situation behind. This is going back to simply knowing what the card means. We covered that in the
Okay.
acknowledgement class, that the
Yes.
Pachamama was the traditional card of Dorothy leaving the farm. And so that's just a matter of having to just straight up go to the
Know the
guide book and
cards.
know what the cards mean, because we've already,
Okay.
Pachamama is
That makes
root.
sense.
We've already done the root chakra,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so
Yep.
root Pachamama is leaving a bad situation behind, or going to a new level within the same situation.
Gotcha.
So if that's in the position of transitional opportunity, it sounds like going to a new level in the same situation is what's needed.
Yeah, leave a bad or still go ahead and leave a bad, stale, or lifeless situation behind. I got you. Okay.
That's the
And I've
transformation
done
opportunity.
okay. And it's freeing because you've done all you can. That's it. Done. Right?
That's the Adi Shakti card, but it's very similar because it is the Wayne and Gibbous card of self-inquiry. This is the Wayne and Gibbous card of acknowledgement. And Pachamama is really more about that same kind of energy that you've done all that you can do on the farm, but you really can't say you've done all you can do into the second chakra, because she returns in the second chakra. And that's when she realizes that she returns, she's done all she can do. She doesn't quite realize that yet, but what
Mm.
she thinks she does, but what she's really needing at that point when she's leaving the farm is to be regrounded.
But on the in the guidebook here it says paragraph 2, second sentence, you have done all you can do and gotten all you can get out of it at this time. You are not responsible for saving anyone but yourself.
Okay,
That's
okay,
where I got that from.
okay, okay. All right, I'm glad that you brought that up because these these are being revised all the time with the Great Mother, so that helps me kind of keep up with what she's switching and changing some of these things sometimes. And so, Adi Shakti must have taken on a different meaning. You can look real quick and tell me Adi Shakti doesn't say all you can do too, does it?
Let me see. Adi Shakti. Hold on, I'm flipping. It says Adi Shakti says it does.
Okay.
But it does say, but hold on, it's a different ending to that sentence. You have done all you can do and or the best you can do in this situation. Period. Whereas the other one was at this time.
Okay.
Pachamama said at this time, whereas Adi Shakti just said period. Done.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Root chakra, you've done all that you can do at this time. And so that's the transformational opportunity, is to realize that you have done all that you can do with regard to your boundaries at this time, and that you are needing, therefore, with this waning gibbous moon, which means what?
Wait, what does the waning gibbous moon mean?
Right, the moon phases aren't there for
So
decoration.
the waiting, no, I know. I'm trying. I was still flipping through the pages. So the waning gibbous moon means that I have to develop something different. I have to go ahead and move away, right? Go ahead and do a true deep evaluation.
Waning gibbous is reaping, sharing, thanksgiving.
Oops.
And so you layer it. You layer the meanings. And so if Pachamama is that you've all done all that you can do at this time, then the transformational opportunity is to realize that you have done all you can do at this time and have an attitude of gratitude, thanksgiving. Keep sharing. Do the broken record on the family. Yeah, you said all
Gotcha.
you can say. All you can do is keep saying it. Share it. Keep sharing it. That's the sharing moon. That's the
Got it.
reaping moon. That's the harvest moon. And so that's the transformational opportunity. That's the opportunity that you have, is to keep doing the work that you're doing, but take it to the next level. And that next level is going deeper within yourself and practicing it, practicing the boundaries, practicing the broken record, you know, and not getting upset about it necessarily, because what do we have here in your, what's the position that you lay down next?
Um, so the position that so after the center card, because you chose the Pachamama, but after I laid the Kali card in the center, I
Hmm.
went all the way to the left and I laid down Demeter. Then
So,
I
okay,
went
so,
there. Go
hmm,
ahead.
go ahead.
Just so you know the order, I did Demeter, then I did the top, the authentic self, Brigid, then Pachamama, then Oriasis, and then Isis. Then I did angels, Durga, and then lastly the synergy one.
So you did like a zigzag.
Sorry, yeah, I did all the way across, all the way across. I did half moons. Demeter, Brida, Pachamama, Oriasis, Isis. Sorry, then I did angels, Kali, and Durga, and then lastly the glyphs, because I did half center. I didn't start with the center card and do Kali.
Well, since that's what was flowing with you, let's go with what was flowing with you from Pachamama. But I wanted to be sure that in the processing spread, that special attention is given to the center card and the card on top of it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. And so from there, we've already established that opening up with those two cards so far, what?
Our root chakra. You said that, so therefore our what?
Okay. So far with the reading with the center and the card on top of that, we've established what with regard to the answer to your question about what you need to know
Yeah, is so what
boundary now and stay in the court.
yeah. So what I've learned so far is that I may have like my root cause is fear. Um and but that I do recognize that within my boundaries right now that I do need to kind of stay the course. I've done a lot, but take it to the next level. And that may, and I might be embellishing, but that might involve just kind of, hey, just a whole new change. But again, that's the transition. That's part of staying the course.
And we'll see with the card that you laid down next. What was that?
Okay, so Demeter was what I need laid down next. Accept your feelings. So this is a processing. So I agree. I do think that I am looking and evaluating and understanding how do I really feel about this. Ironically, as we spent a good amount of time on this one, it's hard. Um, also going back to this card is not only are we saying how I feel, I'm also looking at it's a gut chakra. Um, and I think it's kind of I won't say, but I won't say tearing me up, but it's definitely impacting me. So that's the processing, and then this is a full moon card, and and full moon is like everything's out in the open. So I think that that means that I have really just I'm shining a light on all the situation. But I think that that's what that means. But so let me flip back over to what the position is for this to
Very
process this.
good. Very good. Because that'll
Okay.
tell you. Yeah, that'll tell you.
So this position is the shadow. Isn't that interesting? So
Mhm.
stuff is coming out. Whatever was in the dark must be coming to light. That's interesting. Because this is the shadow card. Oh no, shadow means what I need to keep in mind of. Don't forget.
Shadow is what we hide from ourselves and from others, either consciously or unconsciously. Either there are things
Hmm.
about ourselves that we don't like and we don't want other people to know about, or
Yeah,
the things that we're not consciously aware of about ourselves that are sabotaging us. That's the shadow.
that makes sense. But I think that and and because it's full moon, does that mean that we're shining a light on the shadow?
That's a good question because the shadow is it is our true feelings. And so you have the
Hmm.
full moon in the shadow position. And
Mm,
so then the question becomes just that. Are you hiding this
mm.
sense of fear, the sense of lack of support from yourself? Or are you hiding it from others?
Yeah, I think I'm hiding it from myself. But actually, no, because I'm like, feel the fear and keep moving. That's what I keep saying to myself. And maybe I haven't gone to the depths of the fear, but I do know it's there.
So remember with accept your feelings, either you are not accepting your feelings, which makes total sense in the shadow position, right?
Yeah.
Or this is a confirmation that what you're feeling is true,
Hmm.
but you haven't recognized that.
Okay.
You haven't accepted the truth of your feelings.
Yeah, I get that. But I think what I haven't accepted is the full consequence of the truth of my feelings.
Well, remember, that's why we show the traditional card, the original card, because what this shows when
The Demeter
Dorothy,
one?
right, when Dorothy asked Glinda the Good Witch, and I don't know if this is going to stay on this card.
Hold on. I think I took a
Yeah, it goes off really quickly. But when she
oh, I
asked
see
her the way home, this is when Dorothy asked Glinda the Good Witch, which is the way home.
it. She said I'll go home, but you're not going home right away.
Right. And this is all about asking for what you really want. Yeah, I know Great Mother want me to be divine and everything, but I want to go home. that's, accepting how, that's accepting how you feel. I know she done gave me these ruby red slippers to be happy, healthy, and whole, but I want to go back to my toxic home. I want to go back, mama. My mama, great mother, good and everything, but I want to go to mama.
I tell you, I'm with you
Okay,
on that.
okay. This is Demeter. That's
Yeah.
that's Demeter. That's full moon on your ass. Is the disciplinarian mother, and so the disciplinarian mother is do what's right. And so in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, nothing is inconsistent. Nothing is inconsistent. Everything is balanced in this deck. I didn't do it. She gave it to me that way. I just wrote it down because I know what the hell. I had to just ask you just now, different between two cards. So she's doing this, and I'm having to keep up.
Yeah.
The righteousness, what does righteousness mean in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck? That you're living in your divinity. That's what righteousness means.
Mm-hmm.
That the behavior is soul inspired. So
Yes.
t- being right, telling yourself the truth, regardless of what that truth is with love, is what that's all about. Okay, that's really what that is all about in a nutshell. And
I accept that.
yeah, so in the shadow position, Great Mother's coming up, and she's like, is that what's happening here? Are you truly telling yourself the truth about what you want? Not, I mean, the real good down nitty gritty, as Iyanla Vanzant says, the root gut dirty truth about how you feel about this situation. That's in the shadow position. Accept your feelings. The root gut dirty truth, what she calls it.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's in the shadow position, the root gut dirty truth about how you feel about this. And so if you could just write down in one sentence what that is, how I truly feel about my boundaries being compromised in my pursuit of divinity is
Yes, and I'm mad.
I'm pissed and I am mad. All right. So it's no longer in the shadow. It's no longer in the shadow. So what is the next card you laid down, Monica?
The Bride, authentic self.
Okay. What is it? Okay. What position is it in the
It is
spread?
It is in the your approach to this situation.
Your approach to this situation. So now we know that we're upset about the situation. And so, how are we approaching it? So,
Looks like authentically. I see the words, but I see another full moon card.
yeah,
Am I right? Like I'm being bright and I want to say this outright bold with it. I don't know who
that's
Bright
Brigade.
Brigade is. I don't know who Brigade is, but I do know that it's blue. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
speaking. I'm talking. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not hiding it, and it's out in the open.
That's
Well, that's
right.
good. Well, that's interesting.
And as we'll see when we do the rebirth suit, which is the fifth chakra suit, Brigade is she is the goddess of the bard, as they say in Britain. All the great writers, Keats and Lawrence and all those people, went to her well in Ireland to be blessed with the gift of writing. And her father is the Dagda. She's one of the trine goddesses of inspiration. And
Mm.
so poetry, writing, speaking, okay, that's why she's fifth chakra.
Okay.
She
Eloquent,
keeps
probably.
Right, she keeps the fires of creativity burning at Kildare. The fires of Kildare, she keeps them going, and that inspiration of speech. So, in the position of how you are approaching this situation, Brigade shows up as your authentic self. You are authentically expressing yourself. What is the next card you pulled, and in what position?
Pachamama, and it was in the transformational opportunity.
Okay, and so the transformational opportunity is what again with Pachamama?
What do you mean? What is it again? It's a root chakra
Okay.
card.
All right. And so when you're doing a reading, you want to always go over what you have covered, especially if you're going over spreads like we are.
Mm-hmm.
The point isn't to become more confused. The point is to, you know,
Oh, just to repeat what we've said?
s- unless you already have it, you might already have it. I'm kind of slow. I'm Taurus moon. So,
No, 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 no. I'm asking, and I like how you said not to trick you because that's I do deal with a lot of people that are trying to trip me up. So I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Was it a different question? So
so you're
no,
approaching the
I don't
situation
have
with
it.
Brigade, expressing yourself. You're approaching the situation with Brigade, expressing yourself. Okay. And so we had already pulled out the transformational, but still, since you're going to go over to Osiris, right?
Yeah,
Okay, we're not going to just skip that. We're just, again, you
I
are
got you.
expressing yourself, and the transformational opportunity is to take that
So
expression to a next level. To
yeah, take it to the next level. Let's read, let's share, let's understand. Let's keep going. With that experience, right? Love it.
hmm
So that's a deeper experience with the family then.
hmm
Interesting.
And so, what
Okay.
not to look in this situation? What should you not overlook in this situation as you take it to the next level? We see what not to overlook, and the card in that position is
Another fifth chakra card.
yeah.
This is Osiris Horus. Um, and this is I can't really tell from the picture. Hold on. It's Osiris Horus and to the left. So it is that's not the crescent moon. The dark is on the left side. So
hmm
that's the balsamic moon.
hmm
And so, oh, completion. Look at that. So it's like don't forget. So maybe what not to overlook is that, oh, and there's completion in the death and rebirth card. So that's interesting. This is just like Demeter. The shadow and being honest is similar to the Osiris sent. Oh wow. Okay, sorry. So looking at this looks like this is an opportunity too. That so given that it's the Osiris, there's death. There's a there's don't forget that we can change, create something new, right? There's it's something's maybe coming to an end, but maybe it's redefining and starting it anew with the rebirth.
Yeah,
Awesome. This is
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
And with that fifth chakra energy, you have a clue of what is coming to an end and what is being reborn.
So the clue could be, oh, just being able to express and vocalize.
Hmm.
Ah, speaking the truth. I love it.
How you're doing that, how you are speaking your truth. And we'll see in the rebirth suit class that this card, Osiris Horus, is the scene when Dorothy melts the witch.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely death and rebirth. Okay.
Mhm. She throws the bucket of water on her and melts the witch. Now, of course, that wasn't her intention to melt the witch, but
No.
it was to save Scarecrow, who the witch had set on fire. What does Scarecrow symbolize? The brain, thinking, the mind. And so you've been using your higher mind. You've been expressing your authentic self. That is how you have been dealing with this situation with the energy of Brigid. You have been using your higher mind. We know it's the higher mind because it's the fifth chakra above the heart chakra. We have heart
Mm-hmm.
below chakra energy, heart
Heart above.
and heart above chakra energy. You have been approaching this situation with what? Heart
Heart
above.
above. Hmm.
And so now, having laid that intention of practice, it's been threatened in some way. And we know that because we see the root chakra as the core issue.
Okay.
It's
Ah, I
been
see how it
threatened. And so,
is.
in your attempt to protect it, accept your feelings, as we see here with
Mhm.
Demeter,
Okay. Yeah, accept your feelings and then but continue to
a death,
approach it, yeah,
a
with
death
your
has occurred. A death has occurred, and we don't want to gloss over that. As a result of your efforts, a death has occurred. You have defended your higher intention. You have defended it. And so something has died
what that is.
and something is being what?
Reborn.
Reborn in the position of what
What
not
not to
to
overlook.
overlook. What is being reborn? Well, what is your next card and what position?
The likely outcome.
Okay, I might need to put numbers on the cards.
Sorry.
Okay, Monica, you got me. You got me.
I was trying. I was
You got me, girl. You can't do the outcome until the end. You got me. You got me. I'll have to put numbers on these cards.
I had a method.
I gotta put numbers on the cards. Yeah, I do. Thank you very much. Cards need numbers. Spreads, I'm sorry, spreads need
I
numbers.
think the bottom center will be good. Not too big and
We'll come back to outcome. We'll come back to that. Okay. So, what's the one you put before that one or after that?
but well, I will say this.
Okay.
based on the way I laid it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me back up. Based on the order in which I drew the cards, the last one would have been glide the glidadis, the bottom.
Gildeptis,
There we
Gildeptis.
go.
Mhm.
Synergy. That's the last card I drew. So I guess that one would have been in the outcome position if I had put that last.
Okay, and so that is in the what need to be released. Okay, let's do it your way for now. Let's do it your way for now. That's what we said we're gonna do. Let's do it your way. And so
Okay.
outcome is in ice season,
You are
self-mothering is
hilarious. It is. The outcome is self-mothering, which is not a bad outcome
mm-mm.
because that's part of conquering the MDT. Like we acknowledge the MDT. So I think through this process I'll be able to better self-mother myself
Mhm.
and love. And again, this Isis is another full moon card.
Yeah.
Like we just showing the need, like you need you time, big time.
Yes.
And
You have 4 full moon cards
isn't that something?
out of 6.
Isn't that something? So yeah, that's a lot. And so again, it's root chakra. So this is I think which kind of goes back to like foundation, right? So it's like given that the issue is going back to the core issue being fear and something's been threatened, you are going back to take care of yourself, you're defending it. And through this defense, I think maybe that outcome or the reward is that you will be loved through you will get the strength through the self-mothering
Mhm.
as
Absolutely.
an outcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the far left card and the far right card are related. And so you are intuitively connecting to that relationship. Yes, the full moon card of Demeter, accepting your feelings, is what's going to inform you of the kind of self mothering you need.
Hmm. I like that. That makes sense. I can feel that. I get that.
Very good.
So let's go to the next position of the card is how you dance with the shadow.
How you dance with the shadow is the next card, and that's your angel card?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yay. So you've been dealing with this energy by allowing your angels, guides, and ancestors to help you live in loving detachment.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I've been praying and talking a lot.
And maybe,
This is all kind, but this is everything kind of. This is the symbol. I see the angels, but we've got yin and we got male and female, double male and double female.
yes, angels is the last card, and actually, it should be the first because it is the double yin yang symbol of the deck, which is a great opportunity not only to explain yin yang energy, but to explain the ego and the soul, because that's really what we see here. We see a healthy ego soul alignment, yin yang energy twice.
Hmm. I got you. Great father and great mother energy aligned, and
In the
then
body and in the soul. Uh-huh.
the body and the soul, and then getting the support and help. Because I remember when you said when you're helping, when you're healing yourself, you're healing others. So that's your ancestors. So that's why there's that support.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
for the soul, by going forward in your soul alignment, then I guess that's also where the angels are there to help because they get it. Like they get, they may not know it all, like an all seeing, but they are there to help and support
And
you.
there's so many different kinds of angels.
Absolutely.
There's so
Mm,
many different kinds of angels, and they just come when we need them, and they stay as long as we need them. And they're specialists. We do have our steady eddies, guides, angels, and ancestors that we've had lifetime after lifetime. You know that they just there. They were just a part of our soul group, and we have ancestors like that as well. But a lot of times when we're doing this kind of conscious work, we have
mm,
specialists that come in. You have
oh,
specialists that come in that'll help you do something real fast you need to do so that you can go on to something else for your evolutionary purpose. Something that you normally would not have had the skill or the ability to do. They'll,
yeah,
they specialize
I love it.
as more. And so this in your position of
It's
what
in the
needs to be
position of
released.
what needs to be released. That's interesting. So this is a purple card.
And what chakra is that?
Mm. Hmm. First eye. Why does that need to be released?
The first eye, absolutely. And the first eye chakra is the emancipation suit, the last suit of the deck. And so emancipation is freedom from what?
MDT.
Freedom from MDT. Very good. Although we may continue to be triggered from time to time, we are successfully, primarily living in loving detachment from MDT and consciously working with our divinity consciousness. And so, what needs to be released is anything that keeps you from
Getting here.
synergistically, absolutely,
Hmm.
being in that space. As we'll learn when we do the last class in the Emancipation Suit, Gildeptus is the scene of the deck when Glinda tells Dorothy to click her heels 3 times to synergistically align body, mind, soul,
Mm,
reptilian, prefrontal, frontal cortex, mama, drama, trauma, health, happiness, and wholeness. Align the chakras in order to return where?
oh,
Home, which is what? We cannot have health, happiness, or wholeness without what?
our birthright. That's our birthright.
That's our birthright, and we cannot have it without what?
Our divinity identity.
Well, we have our divinity identity, and that's our birthright, but we cannot be happy, healthy, and whole, even though we're divine. We're all divine. Our mothers are divine, but they don't know it,
Uh-huh.
which means they cannot be happy, healthy, and whole. We cannot be happy, healthy, and whole without peace.
Oh, yes. You
We
said
have
that
to
earlier.
have we have to have peace.
We have to have peace.
That's why we click our heels with mama, drama, and trauma too, because we've made peace with what?
The MDT, and
The
we
mama, the drama, and the
and the
trauma.
that's come through.
That's emancipation.
Okay.
That's freedom.
You accepted it. I got you. You know what it is. I got you.
So, what needs to be released with regard to you staying on course with your boundaries is
So
anything that keeps you from
from this,
what?
synergy, from being, I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna take a good. I'm just gonna quiet myself, and what I'm getting is that it's whatever whatever is keeping me from being clear and being able to connect and intuit whatever is a blocker for me developing and remaining in peace, remaining centered.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Anything that keeps you from remaining at peace and being centered needs to be released. Full moon, right, illumination, purification.
Yeah. That's powerful. Okay.
That's why the card next to it is what?
Durga, which what will facilitate the release?
Yeah, what's going to help you? There's always help. Yes, we're given guidance and it seems overwhelming, but we're always also given what?
Some help.
Yeah. So what's going to help facilitate this release of all things that are in the way of your peace? What's going to help with that?
Boundaries, which is what I've been defending. Jesus. I think that's confirmation I'm on the right path. I'm
Yes.
just saying.
Yes. Yes. And so that's what Great Mother always gives us is clarity, balance, and what?
Clarity, balance. I should know this. It's in the
And
beginning of the book.
confirmation.
Hold on.
And
And
confirmation.
confirmation. Okay, I was like, it's in the beginning of the book.
She always gives us clarity, balance, and confirmation.
CBC. Clarity, balance, confirmation.
Yeah.
Yes. So you still gonna number them cards?
I'm gonna number them cards. I'm gonna number them cards because you done showed me I need to number them cards
But
now.
it came out though. I mean, your way did work. I mean, it just was kind of like,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And I really appreciate that perspective so that I can see how to modify for greater clarity from Great Mother.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I could see how I still see that even if that was in a different position, say those two cards were flipped, that it still would have been a good outcome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you can also like the left and the right are related. The
Mhm.
top and the bottom are too. You have Gildeptis at the bottom, the synergy that promotes purification for your peace with Pachamama. And
Mm.
and so you can see there the root chakra connecting to the inner eye.
Look at that. That's to me, that's powerful too.
That's a huge transformative leap from this core issue being fear, which indicates to me that that is a real present issue that you're consistently working with. It's like a consistent thing. And this is giving you a lot of latitude. Not that you needed permission, and that is not the best word, but latitude and saying, continue and do it even more.
Yeah.
You might be concerned with the way that you're doing it. And so that might be a processing spread that you do in terms of, yes, so you want to accept your feelings, but in order for you to be happy, what do I need to do to feel more happy about this, to feel more at peace about this? It says boundaries here, but if because of the big heart that you have, some of the methods and techniques that you're using, let me back up. And I'm going to say this before we go. Do you think that part of your challenge might be still dealing with not in the same way as before? Because this is telling us that a death has occurred and you have been reborn and you are in your authentic self. So the question is not presented in a way to disqualify that in any way, but to recognize that this is a new level. This might be the new level that Great Mother's talking about to work with boundaries, that there might be this, and we all have residual issues. That's why we can always be triggered, but mama drama trauma, until we work it all out, right? And it can be a lifetime of working a particular issue out.
Mhm.
But this issue of people pleasing,
Mhm.
others being the judge and the jury, having some remaining hold on you in a way that is not preventing the establishment and maintenance of boundaries, but creating a kind of a sadness at this point.
Mhm.
Hey,
It's a yeah, it's a sadness. It's more of a disappointment. It's more of a disappointment because
that's normal.
the boundaries that are being upheld are not ostentatious. They're reasonable.
That's normal. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal because this kind of work is not something that is understood by others, and oftentimes most people, things are changing very rapidly, so this could be a statement that is completely disqualified a year or 5 years from now. But at this present time, most people aren't even at the point where they can even understand what your intention is. And so
No.
you can relieve yourself of any responsibility of them understanding you. That's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
Let great mother take care of that. That's her job. Those are her kids. Those are her babies.
Yeah.
They ain't your kids.
No.
And,
But it
and
is isolating. It is
huh?
very I said it is isolating.
Well, um, only to the degree that we have difficulty accepting.
And that's been and I think for me has I think that's a very true statement. And that disappointment and me standing and holding fast in those boundaries.
Well, disappointment and boundaries are two different things. And again, this is normal.
Yeah,
It's normal processing all of this. And processing is separating the wheat from the chaff. And sometimes we can't see it until we really, really, really get up to it. And the distinction between disappointment and boundaries is just what you need in order for you to feel happy, healthy, and whole.
yep.
Disappointment is a judgment as to what other people need
Mhm, mhm.
or what they must do or be in order for you to be happy, healthy, and whole. That's
Judgment of
that's you crossing the boundary. Disappointment is you crossing over there. What other people think is none of your business.
that's fair.
It ain't none of your business. Now, when you make it your business, you're gonna have problems, like all of us, which is why it's normal. We all have a tendency to make what people think about us our business because we think we own what people think about us, and we don't. They own their own thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm with you.
That's
Yeah,
the, that's
legit.
their stuff. It's not, but
But what about when the treatment of you? It's like I'm minding my own business. And it's as if I'm walking across the street and somebody's yelling, saying, "Don't go that way. You stay over there. I stay over here. I'm on my side of the street." And they steadily yelling, "Why are you over here? Why are you coming over here pulling me across the street? I am not bothering you. I'm good. I got on this side of the street for a reason. Boundaries." That's what I mean.
now, okay, tell me in plain English what's going on.
Stop the recording.
Huh?
I said, "Stop the recording."
Okay. We are done with the class and we're going to go into what's going on. Hope you've enjoyed processing. Thank you. Okay.